Redlands, California, where our David Begnaud is standing by outside the apartment of the shooters in the San Bernardino case. David, I understand that the landlord is allowing media into the apartment. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's a bit of a circus. Come with me. I'm going to take you inside the apartment. It's going to be raw. It's going to be a little bumpy, but I want to give you an idea of what it looks like. This, where you see it's boarded up, this is what was done after the FBI made entrance into the building. So this is our first time. I have to tell you, I never thought we would be allowed inside, but this is the look that we're being given inside of the suspect's apartment. There is broken glass on the ground here. We're looking at things in the kitchen. It looks as though people were cooking recently. You have a lot of pots and pans in the sink, stuff on the stove. Not going to touch anything here. We've got a dishwasher and a dryer, some food there. Again, there are reporters. I have to tell you, when this first happened and the man who's believed to be the landlord came and unlocked the door, almost like a herd of cattle, journalists rushed in for an opportunity to see what they can get. There appears to be people here taking photographs of things that are on the table. I'm looking, these are documents that are titled U.S. Department of Justice Federal Bureau of Investigation. I'm going to step aside and I'm looking at some of this. It looks as though one of these is an itemization of items that were found and seized inside of the home. Let's keep taking a look inside. So we know that the suspect lived here with his wife and his mother. You have a table here. There's the sofa. It looks like there's a fireplace, a treadmill here. There is something that the baby would play with. It was a 6-month-old baby girl. So it looks like a fairly small apartment. We know the suspects who lived here were of the Muslim faith, and we have confirmed that they were deeply religious. We're told that the wife stayed upstairs. She wore the hijab, did not go out in public a lot, and did not drive. The husband worked as a health inspector in San Bernardino County. We're told he, of the Muslim faith as well, was very religious and prayed 5 times a day, and their faith was very important to them. Now, we have heard other reports that in a back garage, there were neighbors who saw them at odd hours of the night doing things in the garage that seemed suspicious. There's a woman inside of me who's actually reading a list of things that were seized. I want to read some of it. Union Bank receipt, black and gold colored pen, some things that you would expect to find. Audio cassettes. Let's see, scope, style book, weapons, accessories, it says here. 34 boxes of 20 rounds for .223 caliber, 20 boxes of 50 rounds for 9mm, 1 bag of 1,000 rounds for .223 caliber, 14 boxes of 50 rounds, 10 boxes of 100 rounds. They found a lot of ammunition. Let me try and take you upstairs
David,
if we can.
David, can we ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Do you know why the windows were boarded up? Was that done before, or was that done after?
No. So here's what happened. After the shooting, what the officials did was they didn't come and knock on the door. They made entry and busted their way through. And so the glass that was broken near the front door and in front of the sink had to be boarded up. So let's take a trip upstairs. Excuse me, sir. Again, there are a lot of people in this apartment. It is a 2-story apartment. It's in the city of Redlands. It's about 8 miles from where the crime scene was in San Bernardino. As we come up the stairs and we take a right here, this appears to be the bedroom where the child was staying. You see here, there's some children's toys, a pillow, and a blanket. Looks like pretty empty space as we get a look around. Maybe a prayer rug or just a rug in general. As we look in the closet, it looks to just be a lot of clutter. It looks like any American room that you would expect to find where a 6-month-old child lives. There's a computer here. Let me see if there are any notes on the computer that were left by federal investigators. I don't see it. Let's see, there's a Chase bank check for $7.98. Again, this is where the family tells us the wife one of the suspected shooters, stayed. I want to bring in my producer, Sally, who has been going throughout the house. Is there anything you saw that stuck out to you?
Well, the sink, it's kind of as if people left without expecting. I mean, the sink is just absolutely filled with dishes. There's a lot of material in the sink. There's a white powder by the stove, kind of leaving it in the middle of disarray. I think it's just, I don't know what kind of it might say about the suspects that you would just leave right in the middle, leaving this house and, you know, not expecting people to come in.
What's on the other side? We're going to make our way to the other room now. Again, it is a bit of a mess. This is just a computer table. We're told that the investigators, in fact, I was here when the FBI showed up yesterday morning. They arrived, about a half dozen of them, and went inside the home. And they spent the better part of, I'd say, 8 to 10 hours inside of the apartment. And they left yesterday. We're told that some of the items were being transported to a federal facility where they were going to be analyzed. This is live television, so it may not look pretty. It's a little bumpy, but we wanted to give you the first-hand account. So keep coming. Photographer Lee Hubner, we are stepping into a room here, presumably. Excuse us, folks. Everybody be careful. Yep, heads up. All right, so there is a bed as we come through against the wall, and it looks like there are documents on there that would be of interest. Let's see. Okay, on the bed here, I tell you what, one thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to touch. It's not my personal property, and I don't think it's appropriate to do so, but I will read and tell you some of what is on the bed. It looks as though they were a member of Union Bank. Okay, now I want to direct your attention to some photographs. Do not show. Okay, all right. So there are at least, from what I'm looking at, we don't want to show any pictures at this time, but I'm looking at 3 different licenses that are from California. It looks like several bank cards. There is a photo of a woman. I do not know. We cannot confirm. Come off of it a little bit. I don't want to show the photos up close, but it looks as though there is a photo of a woman who is wearing a headscarf, and we're not sure if that's the individual involved. I see another ID here, Rafia Farouk. It says she's a revenue support clerk, business services specialist at Kaiser Permanente. We know that, again, the mother lived here with her son and with the wife. So again, there's one bed in this room, a lot of personal items we see here.
And David, we should probably be very sensitive to talking about anybody's names that you're seeing on those documents.
Yeah, and again, that was just an identification card. It was not the reading of any kind of personal material, but it looks to match the names of at least those we were told were actually in the facility. Now, Lee, I don't know if you can do a 180, but behind you, you're going to see there is a closet. Let me see if we can get a bit of a view inside. It looks pretty normal. It looks like all women's clothing inside of the closet. It's hard to tell whether the place was a wreck like this before the feds came in or in searching some of the place, this is what was happening. Let me do another 180 and take you inside of another room on the upstairs level of the apartment. Again, if you're just joining us, we are inside the apartment where we are told the shooters lived. The male shooter's mother also lived here. This is the bathroom. There are pictures in here, so we don't want to show the pictures just yet. Editorially, we want to hold off on that, but I can tell you inside the bathroom, it's a normal bathroom. There's a lot of photos, and it is highly likely that the photos in here involve the people that were involved in this case. Again, you have 4 people who live here, 3 adults and a child. Let's go back downstairs, getting a little hectic. There is a piece, you'll see when we come down, it looks like the actual door that they ripped off when they came in is right here. This apartment is in a pretty quiet residential area. One side are apartments, the other side are homes. So again, this is the door. Yeah, you can tell they busted that in. So anyway, move that back. Another bathroom downstairs. And you can see more and more people coming in. Elaine, are there any questions that you have?
Well, I just want to take this opportunity to remind our viewers, if people are just joining us, explain again, David, how this all came about, because obviously this is not something that we typically see when there is an investigation going on.
So you don't want us to,
Well, let me do this, Elaine. There is a gentleman who's talking, so before I answer your question, I want to try and get in, if we can, with our microphone. I believe that this may be the landlord. Can we get a mic up to him, please? And we'll try and see. Can we come around, Lee? Yeah. Let's see if we can get some questions. All right, he's being interviewed right now, so let's get our microphone in there and listen in for a minute. Heads up, buddy. Heads up.
I never come over to interfere with them or anything like that.
How big is this unit?
1,160 square feet.
How many bedrooms?
2 bedroom.
Hey,
And when
sir.
did they rent it?
Pardon?
When did they move in?
Mid-May.
Hey, sir, question for you. I'm with CBS News, so
Okay.
we're live. Can you give me your name, please?
Doyle Miller.
Mr. Miller, who are you?
I'm the owner.
You're the owner. Okay. When did these people start renting from you?
15th of May, around mid-May.
Okay. Were they good tenants?
Yeah.
Did they pay on time?
Every day.
Did you ever have any problems with them?
No,
Okay. What's your reaction to what happened?
this is not real. I mean, this doesn't seem possible. There's way too much hype over this. I'm not sure.
How would you describe him when you met him? Give me a description, sir. His demeanor. Did you just have any suspicions? Tell me what did you
He
think?
looked like a nice, clean-cut young man. That's all I say. So what? That's all I can say.
What's your reaction? How do you feel to know that this was happened? You know, part of it was planned, and this.
People lie, I guess. I don't know. It just doesn't seem possible, and I have no idea what would even tip him off unless he had that in his background somewhere. But I had no indication of that whatsoever.
How would you describe him? How would you describe him? Was he friendly? Did he standoffish? How was his relationship? I'm sorry, I stepped on your answer.
No, he was kind of standoffish.
Sir,
What do you mean by standoffish? Describe more.
No, he just quiet, timid. I didn't see him or talk to him that much.
sir, have the police been able to tell you some of what they found inside?
No,
Have you spoken with the police?
no,
Have you spoken with the mother of the suspect?
No.
You haven't. Have you tried to talk to her?
I don't even know who she is.
You don't, but you do know that she was living here with them?
Yes.
So how many people were living in the home that you knew of?
As far as I know, the grandmother, the baby, and the husband and wife.
But you
Okay.
said you thought that you weren't sure if she lived here. You said she was babysitting a lot.
I would imagine that's.
Why did you allow the cameras inside?
I didn't. When you opened the door, it looked like a garage sale. They rushed.
They pushed past.
Yes.
Where is the garage?
It's in the back, and I'm afraid to open that up.
Have you seen the inside
No,
of
I
it?
haven't.
Have they told you what's in there?
No.
How much did this place rent for per month to the couple?
We were getting $1,200 a month.
Were they renting month to month?
No, we had a year's lease.
You had a year's lease.
Yes.
And how many apartments do you own in the area?
In this area, just this one.
And again, I want to be clear, you never had any problems with them.
No,
Anything about them trouble you?
none.
None.
Well, that's usually the neighbors. If there's any problem, the neighbors let us know. Or if there's a problem with a tenant, the association gives me a call. But I had no calls or complaints or anything else.
Okay, so again, this is the landlord speaking. He is the gentleman who unlocked the door, and as you heard him say, the crush of media simply pushed their way inside. I would say there's probably, I don't know, 50, maybe 75 people who are with the media who are here right now. The one thing we have not seen is the back portion, which is the garage, and the police have said there were explosives and other items that were recovered back there. So, ladies, I want to toss it back to you real quick. Are there any questions you have that I haven't answered?
You know, David, as you said, this is just very surreal, and as the landlord was talking about it, when you went in, you basically described, you painted such a vivid picture for us, but you mentioned it looked like just an average American home.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it looked like any home you'd walk into where you might say to the person, you don't really clean it, you don't keep a clean house, do you? You know, you have the baby items that were in there. There are the bank bills. There were the licenses. But as you saw on that bed upstairs, the feds, I assume, again, we can only speculate because of how everything was left on the bed, but there were licenses and bank statements and personal information just laid out across the bed. In one room, there was only one bed. In the other room, there was only the baby bed. There was the restroom upstairs, the restroom downstairs. The kitchen was a bit of a nasty mess. It doesn't look like anyone had cleaned up in there in a while. There was the washer and dryer, and then the living room. Again, we did an exclusive interview yesterday with the sister of the male suspect, who said that she could not envision how the brother that she grew up with would have become a mass murderer. And I specifically asked her, do you believe that the wife of your brother radicalized him? And here's why I asked that question. We were able to yesterday exclusively sit down on camera and interview a man who was a co-worker of the male shooter. And he said that over sitting by him, over the course of 5 years, they sat side by side at work. There were things that the man said that kind of troubled him. The male suspect, who would later become the shooter, said to him at some point, I met a woman online, I'm going to go over and marry her. And the coworker made a joke, oh, you're getting a mail-order bride. Well, sure enough, the man went to Saudi Arabia, found the woman who he had met online, gave her a ring, and brought her back to the United States. What this coworker saw led him to believe that the wife radicalized the husband. Those are not my words, those are his words, and he was very specific about that. And so I asked the sister last night, do you believe the wife radicalized your brother? She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no. What she says is, there's nothing I heard that sort of would indicate one way or the other. She said the woman who came from overseas did not speak a lot. She was very quiet. Again, she wore the traditional hijab. She stayed upstairs. She didn't drive. She cared for the child. In fact, I asked the sister, when you got together as relatives and you had, let's say, a family event, how would the conversation go? And she said, it was all about the child, and that was it. And there wasn't a lot of talking. When it came to her brother, he didn't say a lot either. Okay, we're going to the backyard. The brother didn't say a lot either. We're told that he was very quiet. And it's also worth pointing out, his coworkers say he was never a problem at work. He was efficient. He was reliable. He never caused any problems. And he never raised any red flags for the employees on a day-to-day business. The one coworker I told you who sat by him said he started to grow a beard at one point, and the coworker thought that was a little bizarre. But other than that, there was nothing too substantial. There were no bizarre comments. There were no threatening remarks. There were no inappropriate conversations that would have led them to believe that it would develop into what it has. Okay, so we're going on the back part of the property. This is the back portion of what is the apartment, the two-story apartment where the family lived. So this is my first time back here. So, okay, so you have garages. This must be their garage here. So you've got this one and this one. We're obviously not going to make our way inside unless we're given permission. I don't know if the landlord has, but this gives you a lay of the land. So you have the garage here, and this is one of the places that one of the neighbors told a local television station, KTLA, that they observed the couple in the garage at odd hours working on things. What were they doing? What were they building? What were they deconstructing? What was going on in the garage? So this is the lay of the, let me bring you up front a little bit.
Sure,
I got to tell you, this area, this is, yeah, go ahead, ask a question.
Garage is separated because, as you were mentioning, with everyone you've interviewed,
it is.
Nobody noticed anything.
Let me see if I can, yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's a nice backyard. I see rocks in the back. The backyard is pretty well kept. So it's a nice place. They have this drape over the side. I don't know if that's for sun or if it were, just for privacy purposes. But nonetheless, yeah, this is the back portion of the garage. What's going on? Everybody's running. Oh no, we don't want to look over. We don't want to look over right now. Let's come to the front of the property. Let's see. I want to show you sort of the street. You know, I want to give you kind of a behind the scenes look. This is the media crush, and we're talking about people from all over the world. We're talking about Canadian broadcasters, British broadcasters, Australians, people who've come from all over the world to cover this story. Producer Chris, back up just a little bit as we swing. Here's the street. This is a nice place in San Bernardino. It's the Inland Empire, as it's known, of Southern California. San Bernardino is the largest county in the United States of America in terms of square miles. The city of San Bernardino, you may remember, you may have heard in news headlines within the last couple of years, filed for bankruptcy. So the city itself has had a lot of financial trouble, and so have people who live here. A lot of people will tell you getting jobs here are hard to find. But as it pertains to the suspects, we're told that the male suspect graduated from high school in the area. He got a college degree, and again, he was working as a health inspector. His wife was not working. She was caring for their child. I see more people going into the home. Ladies, do you have any questions?
David, we really appreciate you showing us some of those images from inside that apartment. We know that you have some more reporting to do. Obviously, I know the landlord is still there. It's still very much a developing situation, so we will let you go and do that. But David Begnaud there in Redlands, California, thank you so much.
You bet.
We're going to have more news for you straight ahead. You're watching CBSN.